I think most assuredly your guardian angels know what your destiny is because they try to keep you on track. They do more than just stand there with a sword, trying to
Yeah.
kill anything that comes by you. They give they will say things to you that will either help heal your soul or maybe inspire your soul. They'll give you thoughts that lead you towards Christ. They'll give you thoughts of ways to fix things.
Hmm.
They probably help people. The people who are going to be like creators of inventions, I'm sure that they help them even in that by saying things to them that would help them do their inventions and stuff like that. I do know this. They're sent at the time of conception. When you're
Hmm.
conceived in your mother's womb, your guardian angels are sent then. And I will see them walking around, pregnant women, and they're waiting on the baby to be born. So guess what? Just so the left knows, there were witnesses to what you did to those babies. And no
Yeah.
one in heaven is happy about it. I just had to add that for free. But your guardian angel is sent at the time of conception. You are something already. When he takes that little spirit of life from himself and it gets knitted and attached to that dot of flesh, that is your spirit man. Man
Hmm.
cannot make the spirit. We can't make the spirit, okay? That has to come from God. And so at the time of conception, that's when he sends that little spirit of life. It talks about it in the Bible. When he blew into Adam's nostrils, he takes that and attaches it in the mother's womb. Your guardian angels are sent right then. Everybody has more than one because one has to take a break and go back to heaven and come back. It says that your angel always is before the face of God. That means one or the other is out there talking about you, maybe things you need help with, and maybe things you need to know about. They're getting some instructions from the Father to come back, but you always have one with you all the time. When you die and step out of this body, your spirit man steps out, the first thing you will see will be your own guardian angel waiting to help escort you to heaven. So when you speak to them yourself, don't be harsh. I just have to
Yeah.
say this is the truth. Don't yell and holler out in your house when your baby's born. You need to try to keep an atmosphere of peace and joy as much as you can. You don't want to cause distractions in the soul or even in the natural nature of that baby. Babies, when they're sung to and they're loved, they just grow up differently themselves than ones who are in a household where people are always fighting and screaming.
Wow.
So if at all possible, and I will tell people all the time, don't, if you feel like you got to fight, go outside. Pray first before you talk to each other. I'm talking to the husband and wife. You pray, loose all of the wounds, ask for grace from God, and then have a conversation with them because you don't want to impart feelings or things into your little child growing up. That's why kids usually get into crime. Their parents were either in crime or they didn't treat them very well. But God has adamantly told me to make sure that I'm saying to all the ones who are related to me, make sure that you have peace in your household, that when you talk to your children, you can still correct them, but don't scream and yell and make them feel degraded. It is not good for that child. So it is important the atmosphere you create. And I know sometimes it's a situation where you're not married to someone who's nice at all. Make sure you have time with that child to encourage them. And I will say this, and this is true. You, as a watcher over their soul, because that's who you are, you're
Hmm.
raising up the soul in the kingdom. Adam was called a living soul because that's your whole inside. That's what you think, you choose, and your emotions are displayed. If they have seen or witnessed something, when the other person leaves, you lay your hand on their head and say, as a watcher over their soul, I choose with my will to loose all of the trauma, the harsh words, the profanity, anything that would hurt my child's soul in any way. I loose it in Jesus' name. And guess what? Jesus will come and take all that stuff out of that child. I tell people if you adopt kids who are in very abusive situations, you really need to do that. Lay your hand on their head and say, as a watcher of their soul, I choose with my will to lose trauma, abuse that happened even in the past, harsh, unkind words, any words of the enemy, loose it out of their soul, and Jesus will come pull that out, and then it can't affect their future.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
bind the love and the life of God to them. In the past, we didn't know all this. We knew, of course, that we would pray. This is a very high level of prayer to declare and decree, but you're really using the keys to the kingdom that
Yeah.
Jesus said, I give you the keys to the kingdom, okay? And it's about binding and loosing. A lot of trauma. If somebody bullied your kid at school, whatever you do when they come home, lay your hand in their head and said, I choose with my will to loose all the bullying, the meanness, any hate, any abuse out of my child's soul. And I've had testimonies from parents that did that, and it was like it never happened.